But we have Stefan Buczko on the line. He's an ESPN journalist, podcaster, and he's also a Dortmund fan. So we're going to ask him about the Premiership and the rumour mill, the truth, the lies, the bull, you know the rest of it. So Stefan, thanks for coming on to the show. How's your day been today, sir? You looking
well? I just got up,
okay,
basically,
cool,
because I'm in Philly now. I'm 6 hours behind, so it's still morning here.
Oh, nice.
How are you doing, Anthony?
I'm good, man. Land of Rocky. So hopefully you've run up those rocky stairs, and we're going to knock out some of these transfer rumours. So first up, as someone who is a Dortmund fan, and with your chief scout packing his bags and coming to the Emirates to help Arsenal out, what can Arsenal fans really expect from Sven Mislintat? Is he the diamond eye? Is he really the truth? Can he uncover the stars that people think he's going to do, or should we lower our expectations?
I don't think Arsenal fans have to lower their expectations at all. They didn't, his reputation, is big, and how many scouts have such a good reputation as Sven Mislintat? I think that first of all is a very good indicator that he knows his stuff. Obviously, Sven Mislintat has a very big network and doesn't just rely on himself, but he is someone who can unearth talent that fits Arsenal, that that can find younger players and really follow an idea. I think this is something that not every scout has, that he has an eye for the bigger picture as well, that you really know what kind of player fits into the molds of your team, what kind of demands you have, and then basically find a good catalog of talent to do that. And I personally really wonder what Mislintat can do with a little bit more money at his hand, because Dortmund, of course, are already a big club, but they are not very competitive financially, at least when you look at the
so then
commercial
what was the
revenue.
main reason that you were willing to let, well, not willing, but what was the main reason that he left? Because he seems like the kind of find that you want to keep in your hands and keep in your club. So what Dortmund now going to be missing not having him there?
Well, the main reason, at least as Mislintat put it, is that Thomas Tuchel back then he excluded him from stepping a foot on a training ground because they couldn't see eye to eye, and so there were discrepancies at the club between Mislintat, Tuchel, and so on that didn't quite work out. Dortmund, of course, promoted him, but gave him a whole new role. But it wasn't really enough. He said that more or less got the ball rolling and had him mulling over a move elsewhere. And I think that money is also another factor why he may consider a move abroad, because I think that Arsenal offered him a nice little salary.
Okay, so then looking forward into Arsenal, obviously we've got Sanchez and Özil, the two players who we want to stay, but it looks like they're most likely going to leave. Just starting with Özil, where do you think we could see him going? I know there's been talk of Manchester United, but is there anywhere else you think we could see him playing next year? I know it's going to be sad times for us, but where do you think Özil might end up in this transfer window or summer?
It's rather going to be the summer. I just don't see Özil making a move in the winter now. There's no need for him to make a change now. He has to focus on the World Cup, basically. I think he doesn't need to readjust now to a new club and put that on his plate as well. He just needs to make sure he is in form come the summer. Also now, of course, for Arsenal. But I really do hope that he's not going to Manchester United, because what we can see right now at Manchester United when we see that team play is that there's a team that suffocates talent rather than enhances it. And Mesut Özil is, of course, a player. He of course can do a lot by himself, but I don't know. There's a tiny bit of fair weather footballer in him. And I just don't see him work out too well at Manchester United right now. That said, I think under Mourinho, when he was still at Real Madrid, he wasn't too shabby. So, but of course, two very different teams.
So when you look at Özil when he was at Madrid, is it a case, because obviously a lot of people say that Ozil's lazy, especially in the British press, they say he's lazy. But when you look at the stats, it's a case of at Madrid he had a lot of great players around him, so he didn't have to do what he's doing now. And I think some Arsenal fans and some pundits see the £40 million price tag and expected him to get 20 goals a season with the 30 assists and do some kind of ridiculous stuff. I think it's a lot to expect from one player. So what type of player do you think Özil is, and do you think the criticism is fair?
I don't know. I don't think the criticism is fair at all. I think he's one of the best playmakers in the world, and his first touch is incredible, and he can create so much out of nothing. He can stand with the ball at his feet, and he has an eye for a pass that not many players have. And I don't know. I don't like the entire laziness narrative whatsoever. I think this is completely going into the false direction. He is not the most athletic player, and he will never, sprint like 30 miles an hour.
So he's basically never going to be a Sanchez who will just run himself into the ground. Just talking about Sanchez, do you see himself ever sign his contract? Or I think he's already got a Man City shirt hidden away in his wardrobe. So it's a case that he's already mentally there already. But do you think there's any other place he's going to go apart from Man City? Because I know there's been a little bit of talk of him going to Liverpool if they're able to get Coutinho to go to Barcelona. They need a replacement there. Thomas Lemar might go into Liverpool as well. So where do you think Sanchez will end up? And will it be this transfer window, or do you think he'll wait until the summer?
Well, usually right. So I would say that he is not going to Liverpool, because for Sanchez that would be a lateral step. Yeah, I don't think that. If you're Sanchez, you are a world-class player right now. You're coveted by every big club in the world, and I would say Pep Guardiola, Manchester City is the place to be right now. They are running away, and you want to be on that train that runs away with the league, right? And possibly have the best chances to win the Champions League in the next 2 or 3 years if Guardiola stays on and it continues like that. So I would say Alexis Sanchez is rather Manchester City bound than Liverpool bound.
But do you think Sanchez, being a player that loves to be on the pitch, and Man City aren't exactly struggling for strikers? I know Gabriel Jesus is injured at the moment, but let's say all of them come back, there's going to be a lot of competition for him. Do you think he's got the ego to sit on that bench if he is benched for a while, or do you think there's a chance that maybe Arsenal or say PSG or someone can persuade him to stay, or do you think it's just Man City or bust for him?
I don't know. I can also see him going to PSG if the money is right. But then again, PSG have their financial fair play issues, let's say. So I wouldn't expect too many big transfers from them anytime soon, if I'm honest. So I don't know. Obviously, Manchester City attracts that kind of talent, and I don't think that the ego will be a problem at first. It can always, of course, be, because Manchester City just take a gamble on having a lot of talent at their disposal, and it's, the strategy here is clearly that it cannot work out for all players they sign. So they take a gamble, but they have the risk that they have little risk, because at least one player will work out great for them, and it may not be Sanchez, but then Arsenal can always get him back, maybe.
I guess it's a case that they've got enough players that are willing to sit on the bench and win the league, rather than play at Arsenal and kill himself and not win anything. I think he's probably won as many FA Cups as he really wants to win FA Cups. But then in terms of Liverpool, I know Emre Can is potentially going to Juventus. Is that going to be likely, or do you think Liverpool will let him see out his contract and hopefully persuade him to stay?
Yeah, I also don't know if Liverpool are really keen on keeping Emre Can, because he is a holding midfielder that likes to slow down the play. He when he gets the ball, he likes to have a touch or two before anything happens. And Liverpool, of course, are a transition football team, and they need their midfielders especially to catalyze the play than rather slow it down. So I'm not 100% sure if Liverpool are really keen to extend his contract. On the other hand, I can see him work out at Liverpool. But I must say, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Emre Can. I've seen him play like 3 or 4 times in the flesh, and his footballing intelligence is just not very high. I think his decision making is sometimes very clumsy. His positional awareness doesn't strike me to be on a level where you can really compete in the Serie A, which is still a very tactical league. So yeah, I don't know. He has great athleticism and he's a good tackler. Although there in his challenges, he is also clumsy every now and then.
But then in terms of football intelligence, we're looking at Leon Goretzka going to Bayern Munich. How good a player is he, and why has the Premiership been slow to put in offers to him?
Yeah, I wonder that too, because Leon Goretzka, since the Confederations Cup and also last year, really had this breakthrough, and he is a world-class player in the making. He's a central midfielder that has, unlike Emre Can, a very high footballing IQ, and he can create so much by himself, and is a player that links up so well. He's the sort of player you want to have in your team if you have problems to connect your defense and your attack, or your holding midfield with the attacking midfield. He is exactly that key player. If you were to choose
one of the Premiership clubs to take him on, which club do you think would benefit the most from his skills? Deep question straight into you.
Yeah, I would actually say Arsenal, because they are the sort of team that has that fluidity and does not try to be too vertical.
Yeah.
Which means they are keen on having the sort of player roam the half spaces and make that one extra pass in the connection. So yeah, obviously I can see him work out at many teams. I can also see him work well for Tottenham. I can see him work well for Liverpool, but I think Arsenal would be a very good shout. And yeah, Pochettino, I think, is also a coach that could make the best with Goretzka.
Also, then sticking to London, there's talk of Arturo Vidal coming from Bayern Munich and going to Chelsea. How likely is that deal going to be done? There's been a lot of talk of that for a while now. There's even talk of him going to Arsenal way back when. So do you think it's going to be a done deal? And how would he suit their style of play?
Well, let's start with the last question first. I think he suits any Premier League team well, because he is a warrior. I don't know. There's no other way to put it. He is the sort of player that really gets under the skin of every opponent, and yeah, he is so energetic. He is almost 30, or is he 30 now? But still, he is playing on a very, very high level, and I think the box-to-box mentality in the Premier League, where there's not too much midfield action in every game, actually suits him. And the way he wins the ball is usually a way that the team, if not he himself, they can immediately do something with the ball, because his tackling it's very brutal, but it's still also very delicate on the same time. So and we just discussed Goretzka, and there's 100% chance, at least in my view, that he'll end up at Bayern Munich next summer. So Vidal will be a little bit obsolete for Bayern then, and so he is definitely looking for another move elsewhere, whether it will be Juventus or Chelsea or Arsenal. I don't know. I think that will crystallize.
But it
maybe
seems like
later.
The way you just explain his play, he seems much like a Kante. So can him and Kante be playing in the same midfield, or is it a case of one's injured, one's on the bench, or are Chelsea going to have to find another way to make them both fit? Because obviously Kante was the PFA Player of the Season only like one season back, so he's not exactly obsolete himself.
Yeah, that's depends on Conte, right? So yeah. I really don't know. I think if you have Kante and Vidal in your midfield, it can be a struggle, because you can only have so much of a slugfest in midfield. You always need that footballing quality, and
exactly.
Yeah, so I would side with you that this could be critical, which is why I'm also not 100% sure this transfer will happen.
And just finally on to Coutinho. I read earlier that Barca have basically booked in a date to do his unveiling. Do you think he's going to definitely be at Barcelona by the end of next week? Or do you think it's going to be another ongoing saga where fans are literally checking their phone or checking the Onefootball app literally every day to make sure, is he gone or is he staying?
Well, I hope not that it's going to be another transfer saga, because, what you hear, the whispers behind the curtains, let's put it this way. Yeah. There's just so much talk that this deal is done, and they're just waiting for the perfect moment now to communicate it. And really everything indicates that he is gone. I mean, he's not playing for Liverpool right now, so I hope it's just a matter of days and not weeks right now.
Cool. Well, those are all of our main transfer rumours. I'd like to thank you for giving us your time. Hopefully you can get back to bed and grab a couple more hours, and then we'll speak to you again another time. Thanks a lot, Stefan.
Thanks, Anthony. Have a good one.
See you later.